Well, hello, my YouTube friends. This may not work, but I thought I'd better go get the camera in case it does. I'm going to add something to the top of this pot. I made a little chimney effect, and I didn't like the way it looked, so I thought, well, you know, in other videos, in mostly foreign videos from India or Morocco or someplace, I've seen them use these, and also in the Asian countries, in like Vietnam or Malaysia, I've seen them use these coils to add something. Well, they'll build a whole pot from the bottom up with the coils. I threw this pot yesterday, and with the intention of making it taller with a neck on it, but it just didn't work. So I'm going to try something I've never tried before, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And you may never see this video if it doesn't work. I've got a big pot of throwing water that's real thick over here off the side. So I'm scratching this up right here on the edge where I'm going to stick this. And I'm going to put some slip on it. And that light is right in my eyes. And I'm going to put a little bit of texture on the inside of this because some of that coil may slip down into there. So now, let's see, where's my brush? I think that's a brush. Yeah. Everything gets so covered up with clay, it's hard to tell what's what. I gotta have this water closer to me, so I'm gonna set it down here on the floor. And I'll probably get it all over myself. But this is real thick throwing water. It's almost like slip. So I'm going to put that on there. Then I've got a couple of coils here. Maybe I'll use this one first. This one's thinner. So I'm going to, let's see, should I wind it this way? I'm just going to lay them around here and get them stuck. And I can use this to sort of, now I've seen them cut these things at an angle. So they cut through both coils at an angle, and then they fit almost perfectly. So I think thinner might be a little easier to manage. So let's put, this may be the ultimate failure, who knows, but we'll see. Think positive, right? When you think positive, you attract positive stuff. So I'm going to overlay that join. And I may throw this just so that it hopefully will look kind of like a pot, like I threw it all in one. Actually, I don't think I've ever made a coil pot before. Okay, so here's an extra piece of coil that I can use in a few minutes. I'll lay it over here. Okay. I don't know how this is going to work. Let's go slow, kind of. All right, what do we do? Let's go slower. We need a rib. let's use this small one. Whoop, right in the water. Okay, so clean that off. Notice how it gets quiet when it gets intense. Nobody wants to say anything. Okay, well that kind of stuck it to the pot. Now let's see what we can do with the top part. I bet other people know how to do this a whole different way. So I'm gonna sort of smush that seam together. I'm taking a popsicle stick and I'm just gonna this would work for classroom kind of application where you have kids that are not possibly, I'm just thinking out loud here, but kids that are not using a wheel and or just teacher hadn't introduced that yet, or maybe they don't have wheels, so but this could work in that kind of a circumstance. Okay, so let's take this and go up as well. So my clay is pretty wet still. It sat overnight, the bottom part of the part that I threw. It got to sit, but it was covered with plastic, so it didn't dry out just a whole lot. Okay, so now that's pretty stuck to the bottom. I'm gonna, dang, there went my silly rats. I have a grabber, though. All is not lost. Okay, let's use the grabber. These are so handy. I'm always flipping a sponge back there underneath the, I'll get my feet in the right place. I'm always getting that back there. There's probably a pile of sponges back there. Yay, I got it. Okay. That is, I don't know who invented those, but they sure did a good thing. I love to just drive up to my mailbox and use one of those to get the mail out of the box. I'm so lazy. It's so bad. Okay, let's cover me up because I might get messy here. All right, I'm going to put the rib on the inside, but I'm going to moisten the inside probably first, just in that area. And just doing myself a little favor by smoothing that out with a rib. A little bit. I didn't get real aggressive with it because I don't know what's going to happen here. Okay. Now that's the crudest throwing a person can do, I think. Well, it's all nice and joined. I mean, it feels real smooth on the inside. Let me see if I can collar that in just a little bit. Now with this rib, I'm just working on the thickness of the wall. And that light is right in my eyes. I need to do something about that. Now I guess I could trim the top of this to even this up a bit. Well, this part looks good. I'm not so wild about the uneven top, but that may just be my compulsiveness about, you know, because I'm used to throwing them. So let's roll this snake out just a little more. Hands. This is how I get this all over me by the end of the day. Or in the first 20 minutes, actually. Well, some of you have written and asked me about my stalking person next door and whether or not it's improved. No, it hasn't improved. He is still doing what he does, and talk about being a meanie. I mean, okay, I'm going to go ahead and trim some of this off because I don't think I can fix that without doing that. I just never lived near anybody, even in dorms and apartments and stuff when I was in school. Now this I can probably roll up and make another coil out of. I've just never been around anybody that was just I guess demonic. I don't know what else to call it because definitely not a happy person and definitely not a kindly person, and you know, to be for somebody to like music, but it's the kind of music that it just makes you cringe. It's not really exactly, oh, my stuff is falling off here. It's just not, he's just not a nice person. That's just all there is to it. But he's smart and dangerous because, and I know this because he is, according to his Facebook page, he's educated and in all the ways of doing things to people, making weapons with sound and that kind of thing. Very well versed in that, and I can attest to the fact that he knows how to do it because he's doing it to me. It's last night, well, the last 24 hours have been pretty rough. You know, everybody in the neighborhood is paying their respects to, well, it's yesterday was Memorial Day, so everybody in the neighborhood is paying their respects to their loved ones and the ones who have given all to the country to serve in the military and so forth. And this guy has just been head banging all weekend. I mean, 24/7. I mean, no breaks, none. And somehow he's figured out how to I don't know if I told you this before, but somehow he's figured out how to make my car alarm go off. So my car alarm has been a real problem all weekend. I don't know how in the world you can do that. I guess somebody told me that you can clone those little key fobs. If you know how, that you can clone those and or order one from the car manufacturer. And so I guess it's anybody could tell by looking what kind of car I drive and just order a new key fob from the company that built the car. Let's see, there's a kind of a fat place, and I'm gonna put that one right there. I probably should not be doing this in pieces. That's probably making it harder for myself, but I'm learning, so, and you're getting the benefit of my learning. It might benefit you more learning how to do this by watching some of those foreign videos. Okay, so we'll sort of overlap it right there and put that right here. And we'll snap it off right there. Okay. Remind me to take that off of there before I turn the wheel on. This clay is pretty wet, so that's a good thing. So I can they say you can take clay away, but you can't add it. But I guess you really can. You can add it. Yay! Okay, and here's another coil to use in a few minutes. So let's get this one stuck. Whoops, wait a minute. Let's do this part first. It looks like it's just embedded into the clay. Now, okay, that looks pretty good. That went on easier than the first one because that was the first one I've ever done. So I'm going to slow the wheel down and smash that together a little better. All right. Okay, not bad, not bad. I like the little thin coils worked better for me on top there where it's getting kind of, wobbly. But at the bottom, the thicker coils, you might be able to manipulate those easier. Now, to prevent cracking, so yeah, that's a good question. Somebody was just asked. Somebody just asked about whether the coils are going to crack apart. I don't know is the answer I have to give you right now because I haven't done this, but I think that it follows the same principle as it does with anything, is that if you stick it on there well enough with friction, with the texture, and adding slip to it that it should hold up in the firing, but if you don't stick them very well, you may have some, it may crack apart. So just be sure that you use good building technique. The more I look at that, the more I like that sort of uneven edge at the top. Yeah, I know, I'm obsessive compulsive too, and something in me wants to just straighten that out, but I don't know, this uneven top sort of gives it some personality that it didn't have before. So, okay, so let me see what I can do. I think I want to collar it in a little more, and I'm using the rib on the outside here a little bit to get rid of those. It does tend to want to twist, and when you start having that happen, then if you're throwing a pot and that happens, you're pretty much in trouble. So, but I want this to be a little thinner, skinnier. I want the neck here to be skinnier. Skinnier, is that a word? More skinny? Skinnier. I like skinnier. Everybody understands skinnier. There's something about that looks just primitive, and I guess it's the top. It could be the shape. It looks kind of Native American, actually, without my intending for it to. But I've seen pots that shape in collections, in actual collections. All right, let's see what I can do. Make sure I have that. Now I'm going to flare this top out if I can. I don't know. Do I like it better flared out, or do I like it better going sort of straight up? Okay, let's put this back in there. I like that. So I wouldn't call this a functional piece because I'm liking this more for the shape than any function it could possibly have. Okay. I have to be real quiet for this. It's kind of like surgery. I think the band needs to go right. Perfect. And now the glaze will stick there, and I don't think it needs any other banding. And I'll just sponge that off when it gets, I like the shape out here. I'm looking in the mirror, in case you're wondering. I'm going to bend this rib a little bit, and since the shape is so important, has become so important, this part of it has become more important than it was before. If it was a functional piece, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't be as concerned with it, but this is all about the shape. So okay, I'll quit waxing on and let this dry, and the next time you see it, it will probably be biscuited. Let me get that piece of crud off there. I love these little yellow ribs. I'm not sure who makes those because I've had them so long I've forgotten, but the yellow, they make yellow, red, and green, and I think blue as well. And some of them are harder. The color indicates how stiff they are, but these little yellow ones are pretty easy to bend, and they give a little bit of resistance, but you can bend them with your fingers and change the shape of something real easy. Okay, I think I'm gonna shut this down then and see what we get when we have this dry, and then bisque fire it and see what happens after that. Okay, I have a large kiln, and it takes me a while to make enough things to fill this up, so I can't fire just real small loads, frequent loads, you know. So that's why you see a whole lot of stuff when I do get everything out of the kiln and it's got glaze on it and stuff. Then you see a whole bunch of stuff at one time. But things like this, they have to dry while I'm producing other pieces. And anyway, it just takes a while for me working by myself to fill the kiln. Good, bad, or ugly, I'll show it to you. Okie dokie, and I'll finish my story.